Yesterday, I shared with you a couple of stocks, in the energy sector that went bananas. We're talking about a 500% single day gain after another 500% couple of days prior to that. And it's because of what? A short squeeze. Well, if you thought, that had nothing to do related to, what is happening with AMC, because I think most of you missed the point, let me reiterate that again in this video with what is happening today, given what of the short seller we all know by heart by now, Melvin Capital. Yes, we have commodities soaring, doubling, causing massive margin calls all across the market in China, in UK, and in the US. And whenever you have margin calls that are soaring at a rapid pace, you only expect some of the dominoes to start falling next. So I'm talking about this is ridiculous, man. Nickel prices doubled to record 100,000 a ton. Trading has been suspended in London. The LME sent a statement that it had been monitoring the evolving situation in Russia and Ukraine, and it was evident that it had affected the price of nickel in the nickel market. 3-month nickel on the London Metal Exchange, the LME, briefly jumped to a record high above 100,000 a metric ton. This is very dangerous market right now because this is a market that has not been driven by supply and demand. Why? Because huge investors took some positions when they thought commodity was supposed to go down, and then boom, it kept going up because of the Russia and Ukraine conflict. Hence, you end up with margin calls. I mean, it may not sound really, kind of close to you, but here it is. The rumor says that Melvin Capital's Gabe Plotkin was reportedly short $100 million worth of nickel shortly before the price rallied 250%. I mean, it doubled 100% today. And as a result, the London Metal Exchange suspended all trading, even canceled some trades. So even before they went up that big today, he already had a position. Now, what is that to do with AMC? Well, the thing is, Melvin Capital has been one of the token, if you will, one of the partners of Citadel in bunch of plays back in 2020. But the reality is they are continuously and consistently losing money after money after money after money, going from place to place because they are always on the wrong side of the trade. Even when they decided that he's going to go long, I mean, right now, if this is true, man, I think we need to have an inverse Melvin Capital ETF, because any play since they got squeezed and burned in GameStop, everything they touched is just a misery. It just turned into huge losses. So Citadel, I think that maybe one of the reasons why Citadel decided to kind of recover all the money they invested in at the beginning of January into Melvin Capital's new fund. All right. Now the thing is, what do you expect will happen to other hedge funds or to other short sellers that went big in commodities or that went big in other aspects, other sectors of the market, like oil, like natural gas, like wheat, all of these commodities that just jumped based on what is happening with the sanctions in Russia? They're going to be tough. Look, this is another example now happening with the biggest Chinese company, right? Chinese tycoon behind big nickel short faces billions in losses. Why? Because they got caught on the wrong side of the trade. Xian Gengda, who controls the world's largest nickel producer, Tsingshan Holding, it's known as a big shot in Chinese commodity circles, has closed out part of his company's short position and is considering whether to exit the wager altogether. The nickel rocketed to a record $1,000 a ton. We already know that. But now, because of this, they are looking at what? That means it will have suffered well over $2 billion. We're not even talking in amount, in yen, the Chinese currency. We're talking about $2 billion of daily losses at the most extreme point of nickel surge on Monday. I mean, guys, margin calls are real, and that's why Credit Suisse a couple of months ago already started, giving warnings to some of the clients, because what is happening in Russia caused a lot of issues, especially when it comes to commodities. But it's also happening in the market. That's why since this whole thing started, we are consistently going back and testing new lows in the market. Nasdaq, S&P 500, Dow Jones. What do you think is going to happen next for all of these other short sellers that are being burned? They're going to get margin calls, and it's going to have a repercussion effect into other positions they might hold as well. Maybe in tech sector, maybe in AMC. Nobody knows. But the reality is, if you were doubting what is happening and coming for AMC, there you go. Margin calls are a real thing, and it's supposed to happen. It is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, folks. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And once it does, it's game over, man. It's moon time, baby. It's moon time.